Throughout MMA's young history, the trilogy has been a recurring theme to settle the biggest rivalries in the sport. And unlike a Hollywood movie series, the third entry usually delivers. George St. Pierre vs. Matt Hughes, Frankie Edgar vs. Gray Maynard, Cain Velasquez vs. Junior Dos Santos. These are just a few iconic rivalries whose stories cannot be completely told without a third showdown inside the cage. At UFC 264, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier will add their names to the list of best trilogies, but let's take a look at how we got here. To start, let's go back to 2014 when they were both featherweights. On the heels of his third UFC victory, a first-round knockout of Diego Brandao, McGregor's star power was rising rapidly. Poirier was on a 3-fight win streak of his own, but he wasn't quite ready for the mind games McGregor brought to the table, which started at the UFC 178 pre-fight press conference.
No, I'm not trying to be nobody but me. You know, September 27th, I'm gonna rip Dustin's head clean off. You know, it makes no difference about nothing. Dustin, a little pea head. Dustin thinks it's all talk. Dustin thinks it's all talk, but when he wakes up with his nose plastered on the other side of his face, he's gonna know it's not all talk.
If Conor could fight half as good as he can speak, you know, I think it would be.
Well, McGregor continued to speak. In fact, he spoke often, even during the fight, up until the moment he spoke his prediction to existence when he landed a left hand that dropped Poirier in the first round.
Right in front. He's talking to him now. Oh, yeah. Hands at his hips. Having a conversation. Looking to finish the fight. That's it. It is all over. Just like that. Wow. Wow. That's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake.
2 fights later, McGregor claimed a piece of UFC gold by finishing Chad Mendes at UFC 189 to become the interim featherweight champ. And then unified the title in a highlight reel moment for the ages by knocking out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds at UFC 194.
Baby, we did it! Yeah!
Poirier, on the other hand, he went back to the drawing board, moved up to lightweight, and rattled off 4 straight wins, which included 3 first-round finishes. After a loss to Michael Johnson, the same year McGregor traded wins and losses with Nate Diaz, Poirier put together another impressive run against some of the biggest names in the division, including an interim title victory over Max Holloway. The confidence of both men grew exponentially from when they first met. They were both competing at a higher weight class, and they both took their games to new heights as well, so naturally the talk of a rematch became a frequent topic of discussion. After both men came up short against Khabib Nurmagomedov in their bids for the lightweight title, the stage was all but set for their rematch after they both rebounded with wins over their next opponents. So this led us to Fight Island in Abu Dhabi for UFC 257, the landing spot for the highly anticipated rematch. This time, however, you kind of got a feeling that things were going to be different. The competitive spirit was present, but there was also a much more friendly vibe. Their personal lives had changed drastically outside of competition from the first time they met. Now they both were fathers, so their why for fighting changed too. During fight week, they shared laughs, they shook hands often. Poirier presented McGregor with a bottle of his hot sauce at their final stare down, and McGregor promised to make a significant donation to Poirier's charity. But just like the attitudes were different outside the cage, they were different inside too, mainly because Poirier had a new sense of confidence in his abilities this time. McGregor put the pressure on early, just like in the first fight, but Poirier was game this time. And knowing that McGregor struggled off his back against Khabib, he got a takedown within the first minute. But McGregor calmly worked his way back up and got back to what he does best, landing hard left-hand punches. But that's when Poirier went to calf kicks, which changed the course of the fight and would be the story coming out of it as well. Although McGregor had success upstairs with punches, Poirier continued to chop away at McGregor's lead leg with repeated kicks, which quickly started to affect McGregor's movement. This created the opening Poirier needed to put together a flurry of punches to put McGregor down and out midway through the second round.
He's got to go back to the count. Big left and now right. Oh my God! That's the ball! Poirier! Have another down, Conor McGregor! Oh my God! Lafayette, Louisiana! Your guy has done it! No!
With one knockout apiece, the series was tied, so of course, you gotta do it again. So that leaves us with a big question going into the third fight. Can Conor adjust to the calf kicks without overcorrecting to leave other openings for Poirier? Not only that, is McGregor even still hungry enough to correct it? He's accomplished everything he's wanted to do in this game, and his bank account certainly isn't hurting either. As boxing legend Marvin Hagler said, it's tough to get out of bed and do road work at 5 a.m. when you've been sleeping in silk pajamas. But on the other hand, McGregor is a competitor. Poirier was a legitimate threat to derail McGregor's rise to fame the first time they met. He just didn't believe it like he needed to, but he certainly did in the rematch. With his elevated self-confidence, Poirier could very well win this series. But McGregor is also capable of making adjustments like he did to come back and defeat Diaz in their rematch. One thing's for certain here, legacy and bragging rights are on the line the third time around. Can the Notorious One close the book on this trilogy with his hand raised? Or will the diamond shine once again on the big stage? We'll find out under the bright lights of Las Vegas at UFC 264.